nice. Hands on the heads cause I'm nice. She cooking me food cause I'm nice. Dirty my cup with the ice. Tongue in the neck cause I'm nice.
What's a crack, everybody? It's Dylan from Mabfield, and this is the first introductory episode to the Mabcast, and I'm joined here with two guys that are going to be helping out and continuing throughout this series. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's good, man? My name's Luke Birmingham. My kind of producer name, I guess, is Birm. That's always what I've kind of gone by. Was a radio DJ for 3.5 years in the Republic of Ireland. Lived in Dublin for a while. Kind of worked with a lot of people, met a lot of people. Kind of, I guess, rap and hip hop's been my life for the last, I don't know, like 5 years of like solid, real Nirma stuff and kind of been working with people. So it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool.
And my name's Nick. I don't really have a background in music, but I just thought I'd give a hand with these two guys and have some crack with it.
Sound engineering extraordinaire.
I mean, I created the Mabfield Instagram, Twitter page a while back, started sharing some music and decided I want to contribute a bit more and stop procrastinating and actually give something back to the culture. So yeah, this is the first sort of adventure into it. Me and Nick have known each other a long time, like through friends, and then been on holiday and stuff together. Similar music taste, a lot of hip hop, soulful, jazzy stuff as well, some pop music in there, a bit of everything. And look, I actually met through Leo Miyagi and we clicked a bit, and he knows a lot about music, so got him on, and this is the squad we've got going together. But yeah, so I mean, the podcast is going to be a bi-weekly thing, and we're sort of discussing about the intentions of it, and really it's just to examine the culture surrounding music and occasionally bring some guests on and things like that.
Because it's still, I mean, the culture's still so new. Like, even when people in like the UK or America hear about rap in Ireland, they're like, oh, really? Like, it's something really, really new. So I think in a way it's nearly just to document it as it's happening. Like every couple of weeks there's going to be a project out or a couple of singles, and it's good to just kind of have nearly like a document to go back on and say, oh, this is when it came out. This was kind of the people's general consensus. Yeah. And to kind of just talk about it, because I mean, there's lots of good stuff. There is lots of good stuff that's worth talking about, and to kind of give those people a platform, I think is cool.
I think because we're starting to see a few more podcasts and like different channels and formats that people are starting to examine stuff through, but a lot of it is more to do with sharing. You've got Airwaves that's doing a lot of good work on Instagram, showing basically all of Irish hip hop coming out, but there's not a lot of people that are critically examining it, and we're not saying we're going to break it down song by song, but we're going to talk about new releases and give it
starting a YouTube reaction channel.
I mean, there's a lot of space at the moment for a lot of things, because it is still a relatively raw community in Ireland.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I mean, bi-weekly, so every other week we're going to have an episode, maybe invite some guests on, and examine the culture. So I mean, recently, what stuff have you been listening to?
I think we couldn't have an Irish podcast focusing on rap and hip hop and not talk about Kojak. Of course, he's the guy at the moment. He's done the English tour. He's been announced at South by Southwest in the States. He's kind of got as much exposure as an Irish rapper can get this period of time.
He was on the Needle Drop recently as well.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, like the guy is good for exposure, but of albums I'm completely hooked on and have replay value. That's one thing in this culture that's still growing because it's so new. Is a lot of projects are really good, but they don't have the replay value. You'll listen to it a few times. It's good. It's a solid project, but it's not a project you're going to kind of go back to and talk about in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened. There's a lot of stuff I get sent in, and there's a lot of the projects EPs that are short and they have like maybe a hit on it, and you'll maybe listen to that one individual single a few times, but overall the sound isn't quite that dynamic across maybe 4 or 5 tracks. It all sounds a bit similar. Whereas I mean, Reggie Snow, obviously, a lot of people heard about him, and he's doing bits over in the States and stuff now, but with Kojak, it was a more diverse sound, and again, like you said, it's that replay value. So there's a bit of that lacking, but I mean, that's always going to happen when it's a younger community and rap music's only starting to sort of seep through the culture here.
For sure. I mean, like, I think, for me anyway, he was the first person I heard who was like the most unapologetical dub, like real, proper Irish, like, excuse the accent, was like, I'm just a north side DC, but really it's kind of, he wasn't hiding it. It was filmed in Dublin. He was very much kind of showing off where he's from. Reggie doesn't do that as much. No. He kind of chooses when he's Irish, I think, sometimes, because in order to get a kind of a bigger, more international stage, I think you don't want to kind of really cling on to this Irish thing too much. I think that was his kind of thoughts on it.
That's the thing with Kojak when I first listened was first listening to him was I found the accent actually kind of difficult initially. But you see after a while when you tune your ears to it, it's really beautiful and it's good to hear an Irish accent over that sort of thing. And I think he captured the right type of sound initially as well, because those sort of jazzy loops and stuff that he raps over, like in Bobby's Cream, like it just suits the accent.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, because I can still vividly remember the first time I listened to the project, because a friend of mine who was in NCAD at the time was saying, "Oh, you've got to check this out. Like, if you're into rap and stuff, you'll love this." And I remember the first time I listened to it and I heard the accent, I was like, "Trash! This is trash. This is so trash." And I actually annihilated it. And then I went back. I actually ended up being in Dublin. I lived there for about 10 months. And after being there and living there and kind of experiencing life there, I went back and listened to it again. It just kind of came up on my Spotify just by chance. And it's genuinely within my top 5 albums of all time, without question. It's such an amazing project.
Yeah, I mean, it's super eclectic as well. I mean, you've got that sort of spoken word opener on White Noise with no drum beat or anything on it. And then you've got Bobby's Cream with the jazz loops, and then you finish off with Eviction Notice. That's like a heartfelt ballad. The diversity on the project's crazy. It's really interesting. Like,
I love there's a theme the whole way through. It's a real kind of, because people make albums, and this is another thing that I've noticed with Ireland, is people make albums, but they're not projects. This is a collection of 10 songs I've made in the, you know what I mean? There's no consistent theme. I
mean, it's a concept album.
Completely, that's what it is. Yeah. It's the first, from my knowledge, I could be wrong here, don't annihilate me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first kind of concept album for Irish rap that's really kind of taken off and done well. Yeah, and if there is something else...
In this one anyway, I mean, for someone creating this in Ireland and with you feel the soul of Dublin in it, whereas I think with like Dear Annie, with Reggie Snow's, I mean, there is some sort of concept there. However, it feels just a bit more accessible.
But then again, does it have that across the full album? Not really.
No,
it doesn't. But like even down to like the fine details. Like I was in All City Records in Temple Bar, and he was kind of, this is when he was doing all the launch of the vinyls and stuff, and it was all the little details down to he had a sticker that has like the little kind of Centra, Delilo, all the stickers, you know what I mean? It's all the extra little details, which I really, really appreciate. It's not even that he's just kept this to the album. It's from the album launch to the merch.
He sort of created this immersive world that everything exists in. And I've seen when I've seen him in Manchester, he didn't do the whole stage thing, but when he played in Dublin, I seen photos and stuff of it, and he had the same clothes he wore in White Noise, and then he had the deli outfit and the other parts of it, and it's sort of creating that world that draws the audience in. I think he's a genius. Like, I think the material is incredible.
100%. Because it was so real at the time, because he's talking about like working in this deli, just like this shitty dead end job, which is literally what I was doing at the time. That's why I connected with it so much. I was in this shitty accommodation, shitty job. Everything was just a bit dead at the time. And then I hear this album, and you just literally connect with every single line, and you're just laying back in bed with my headphones. I can still vividly remember the first time I really listened to it. I don't mean heard it, I mean actually properly sat down and took it in. And I was like, this is incredible. I was texting everyone. I was texting my friends, my mum. I was like, everyone, listen to this. I swear to God, I'm not joking. This is life changing. This is an incredible album, which is very rare that I say that, because I'm very critical of music. Like even the first time I heard it, I was like, this is just trash. This is just wrong. But that's such a good album. Such a good album.
No, it's fantastic, and even the visuals as well for me were incredible. And as far as my knowledge, he creates all the visuals himself.
Yeah, it's him. A guy. I don't know his second name.
I met another dude one time when I was down in Dublin called Hugh Mulhern that had made one of the visuals, and I was talking to him, and I know he did the visuals for Eviction Notice, but for the likes of Date Night, I know it's not on the album. I think Kojak did that himself with the help of some other people. But I mean, they're simple, but they're just really crisp, and I think that's a lot of people are lacking that sort of thing. It's like the rollout of these albums and things need to have the visual content alongside of them to create this experience.
And like if you break down the actual Date Night video, because it's interesting you mentioned that one in particular, if you break that down, what like there wasn't really a budget needed for that. No. Like if we released a song, we could have got very similar shots or came up with similar ideas with kind of little to no budget.
Yeah, I mean it's down to talent, and I mean you can rent the equipment, borrow the equipment, steal the equipment. You can get it. It's big, borrow and steal. You can get it somehow. It comes down to talent and hard work and just. The tiny details. That's what you're talking about with the vinyl and having the sticker and all on it, with the center sticker. It's all those little things that really matter to the audience, and that's why I connected with so many people, I think. But his cult following is just insane as well. Like he's a hero down in Dublin. Like
that's a fact. Because he's the first guy to do it. And what I really admire about his lyrics as well, because again, there's lots of kind of rappers around the islands who kind of go over old school beats, but the guy is like a lyricist, and it's really kind of like, even a lot of the lyrics, it's not the most kind of generic rhyming scheme. It's kind of like spoken word poetry over kind of lo-fi hip hop beats. Yeah. It's incredible.
He really does play to his strengths with his accent and stuff. A lot of the alliteration and things that he used, like pick apart the million ways that you hate me. You know, he's using those sonics to with his accent to his own benefit, and it really rings really clearly in your ear when you're listening to it. But I think he knows very well what he's good at.
He's really, you can tell this is something he's been doing for a while. Because even if you go back on his SoundCloud, he's been making songs since like 2014, 2015. Like, the guy's been at this for a long time. This wasn't an accident that this blew up. Like, I'm thinking about Crack Baby. What's the one? Wallflower? What? Midnight Flower. That's what I was Wallflower. I don't know. But it's the passion that he does it with. Like, even that video that he's underwater and he literally passed out after that video. He physically collapsed from a lack of air. Like, that's literally putting your blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah, it's performance art. That's what it is. It's performance art, yeah.
And you have to admire the guy, whether you like his music or not, how much he puts into it and how much he respects it. You've really got to admire the guy and admire what he's done. So, and
I think for sure he's inspiring a lot of other people, because I think it takes someone like him and Reggie Snow to show people, you know, we're from Ireland and we can do it. Because I think a lot of the time initially people were trying to imitate, you know, American accents and even English accents and using English slang and things like that, and it just doesn't come across very authentic. Or you need your own indigenous sound, and someone else leading the way and showing it inspires loads of other people to do it. And that was sort of the next thing I was going to bring up. Like, is there anybody in particular at the moment you're listening to in Ireland that you're thinking like they have a lot of potential, or you listen to a song and you thought like that's great, even if it's someone that hasn't got a wealth of material? Like, is there anybody that's been on your mind recently you've been listening to?
My kind of knowledge of the Irish scene probably isn't fantastic. I'm more coming from like an outside view. You know what I mean? Like, that I'll kind of hear things for the first time and I can kind of pick it apart as someone who's not really too familiar with the Irish scene. But I think we were talking about this earlier, that there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of content out. Yeah. But how much content can we find that has that replay value? Yeah. How much content really is lyrically amazing? And even if it's not lyrically amazing, I mean, if you want to compare it to like England and American stuff, you've got guys like Pump, you've got all these guys. They can still make a big following and they can still do very well for themselves, not making the most lyrically incredible stuff. But even guys over here doing stuff similar to that, how much replay value does it have? Like, a lot of the beats over here sound quite similar. They're all kind of like American English trap beats. Like, a lot of them sound like they've gone onto YouTube and typed in Travis Scott type beats. And you know what I mean? That's not a bad thing. That's not bad. People that do that, I'm not getting at them, because you know, you've got to start somewhere, and not everyone knows someone that makes incredible beats. You've got to start somewhere.
As the community's growing, you're going to get more collaboration between people, and people, you know, it's like anything. You start something, you're shit, and you get less shit as you go along. I think it's like that. That's my philosophy. That everything, you just keep getting less shit. Sure. And it's like, initially, like, everybody is going to, a lot of people are going to be using similar type beats until they start finding their niche and what they're good at. And I'm starting to see it a little bit. There's a couple of people I've been listening to in the last year that I really like. So there's a guy from Waterford called Pat Lagoon, and he sort of flows over these mad trap beats, and his voice is so deep it sounds like an 808. I'm not even joking. It's crazy. Like, it literally slaps. It's madness, and he's really interesting, and he's released a couple of projects, and his latest collaborative one is with a guy called Rickshaw, and you can see that they're starting to find their lane a bit more. Cool. So it's just cool seeing that sort of development. Who else have I been listening to? Okay, so with that song I played to you earlier, produced by a guy Bitteroc. I don't know too much about him, but there's a guy, Pat Flynn, I think, was going over the top of it, and his flow was crazy.
Is Pat Flynn that guy from Facebook a few years ago that done like a freestyle in his car?
I'm not too sure.
Is it the same guy?
It could be.
If I look completely ignorant at the moment, like, no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry.
I don't know, but it's that kind of thing where you...
MC Pat Flynn, that was it?
Oh, yeah. It could be. It might not be the same person, but I've heard of that name for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. He went proper... I mean, like, was it my sort of thing? Like, it was proper, like, Irish MC and over, like, house beats, but the guy could spit. He was good. Yeah, he was good.
And I mean, there's obviously a lot of natural talent out there. It's just sort of giving people a platform and a stage to show it off and build on it.
Because even like we talk about guys like Kojak again and people using these YouTube type beats, the more projects like that, the more inspiration there is for people to learn to produce, to learn to write, to learn even basic things like sound engineering, to make other things possible for people. Like, the more projects that go out, the more people that get interested. It's the same thing like if you want to look at different genres, like people that write country music or rock, the more good guitar players that come out that live the life, there's going to be some 10-year-old on his 10th birthday who wants a guitar and he wants to replicate what he's seeing. And that's what's happening here. It's growing all the time and you're seeing more and more people. Like any of these things like the group on Facebook, the district hip hop group, you see that all the time. There's more new faces, new beats, new everything coming all the time. And you have to admire it.
It's crazy. It's growing quick. Yeah. I mean, for me, another thing that I think is really important is that sort of cross-pollination between genres. So, for example, when you're looking at Kojak's music, and we were talking about that, you can almost hear a bit of an indie sound in the last song. It's that sort of thing where when you start to get people that were traditionally making one type of music reach over into rap music and bring their own sort of flavour to it, then it starts producing this just more interesting stuff. Like there's this guy Nilo down in Dublin, and he was doing, I think it was punk rock music before, and he's bringing this lo-fi sound with a bit more of a gritty tone to it, and you can hear the elements of punk music he's starting to put into it. And I think that's how the scene will go as well, because there's obviously going to be people who weren't making rap music before that are now starting to get into it because it's become so popular, and they're going to bring their own
because I mean that's what I'd really like to see. I'd really like to see kind of like a crossover project. Like, because if you go back to kind of hip hop in like the 90s, it started as kind of real jazzy soul influence. Like it was all kind of samples from different old soul records and stuff. And then the more it kind of progressed and got forward, then you have Kanye coming along. Yeah. And it's all 808s and like all these synths, and it's all completely different. That's what I think would be really, really cool, because if you go to the UK, you've got grime. And grime is so, you would know a grime beat from a mile away because of the tempo, those real kind of harsh synths. You kind of hear everything. That's specifically a grime beat. I'd love to hear something or someone from Ireland to really make like an Irish beat. It'd be crazy. It'd be just do something different, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for example, those guys, Kneecap we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So a lot of it,
Brilliant.
Yeah, like a lot of it is, tongue in cheek, but there's the dog.
Sorry,
they actually had a track in their mixtape that had like an Irish folk music sample, and it worked. And it's one of them things, like, I don't think you're going to get anybody else in the world doing that sort of thing. And it's a lot of it, it's just getting inspiration from your own indigenous style, your history and your culture. And it's really good to see that starting to happen. But yeah, I think we'll start in the next 5 or so years starting to see like an Irish lane really develop internationally, because the scene's growing nationally, and it's just a matter of a few more people bringing out some really top quality projects that are going to blow up.
Because that's if you want to bring back to the UK again, as it started as kind of like raves and garage, and then it progressed to grime, and then it progressed to hip hop, and it's all these kind of different lanes. Ireland's actually done that, and it's done that very, very quickly. Like if you look at kind of the Airwaves group, you've got real old school hip hop, you've got trap, you've got drill, unfortunately you've got drill, but you've got drill. So like, you've got literally so many lanes that have already kind of opened up, and there's people growing, and there's little kind of circles growing all the time, and there's a big network that's not really discovered yet. Yeah. And there's so many people that don't really have a platform that have the capability of doing really amazing things.
Yeah, there's so many subcultures that are starting to develop really quickly. Like, I mean, we're seeing, more, like you said, more traditional hip hop styles, but we're also seeing like trap influence groups such as like Nuisance down in Dublin. They've got a lot of MCs that are doing some really good stuff. But again, it's just sort of allowing these groups to collaborate and give them a platform through that. And I mean, throughout this podcast, we're going to try and get some guests on, hopefully get them some more exposure, and try and grow the culture a bit.
Because it's very much, we've kind of got lots of plans about the podcast and where we want to go with it. We've had a concept, because we're not trying to do this for us. It's very much about the culture, because we really believe in a lot of what people are putting out, and we genuinely believe there's talent here. So our kind of concept or plan at the moment is to kind of organise some sort of festival, be that a one-day festival or kind of progress that down the line, where we've got Irish acts, Irish DJs, Irish producers, all very much homegrown talent. Have a festival, do it wherever, and really kind of have a showcase day. Make tickets cheap, 20, 30, 40 quid, and really have like everyone that's from the ground up. So we'll kind of start at like 1:30 in the day, for example, and you've got DJs, producers really kind of showing off what they have, and build it up through the entire night, and have an entire day where you're showcasing all the really amazing talent you have.
How many times have you been to a festival and you've just walked past the stage and someone's just caught your eye or caught your ear, and you found something? What's that? Yeah. You go over, like, I was at Primavera Sound a couple of years ago in Barcelona, and we were walking past the stage, and it was Pond were playing, so it's a couple of guys from Tame Impala are in the band, and we just seen them on stage just going wild, and we just stopped. We were supposed to go see Van Morrison, I think, and we stopped and went and seen Pond. I'd never heard of it at the time. And it was one of them experiences where I was just completely engrossed in it. The visuals, the sound, it was just brilliant. And I think if you have this sort of thing, it's better because everybody nowadays just skips songs. Their attention span is so short. If you're at a festival or at a gig or something and you get caught up in a moment listening, you're far more likely to be engaged and
for sure. And so this is why a festival is different and why gigs are completely different. Because when you're just listening to records on Spotify, you're just hearing the record, you're hearing the beat, you're hearing the production. Hopefully you've got some good speakers at home or something kind of good to take it in. Or if you're just listening to that on your phone or just through some kind of decent headphones, you're not going to get the full energy. But when you're in a tent at 9:30 on a Friday night, everyone's either had a few drinks or taken some things they shouldn't have taken. And this beat comes on from either, say, Mango or any of these guys. And there's just, like, you're kind of watching the stage and then suddenly there's a pit over here and a pit over here. It's the energy. It's the energy you get. You get a better sense of the music by the energy in the room and the energy around you. So that's why live music needs to happen. Live music is more important. And why we need to give live music a platform. Because there's places in Dublin, you'll have a couple nights a month, every 3 months even, or even up here in Belfast, we've got Elixir. But it's not often enough to give the kind of the showcase the artists deserve. You know what I mean?
I mean, especially in Northern Ireland, I find there's just not a consistent platform for hip-hop artists, really. And I'm only starting to see a lot more hip-hop artists come through. But I mean, Elixir is like once every couple of months, I think, and
sort of 2-3 months. It seems
it's not something that's regular. Whereas you go over to London, I mean, there's grime nights
every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Even when I was in Manchester, I was there for university. You were coming up, and there's a guy I played in the football team with, and he ran a thing, Lord of the Things, and it was grime like once a month, and then even then there was like something at least once a week that was showcasing people, and it just grew the scene so much quicker. Because if you only have your bedroom to record tunes in and release them on the internet, you can get a load of plays and stuff, but you're not getting that real life experience with crowds and interacting with people. And I think that's really what it is about growing that community as well. Sure,
because like songs take on a whole different meaning live. Like we'll say, there's a guy from Birmingham called JK. There's a guy from Birmingham called JK. And he's got some mad songs where just the energy is just insane. And then he's got kind of slower ones. And when you hear them on Spotify, it's cool. I mean, the guy can spit, he's got bars. But when you see it live, it's a completely different animal. Like it was like 85 BPM, but there's mosh pits, and you're like, how is this happening? Because it takes on a completely different lease of life. You know what I mean?
I think I seen Reggie Snow when I was in Manchester, and it was, what do you call that song he does with Cage Renata? Black as Skin, I think it's called, right? And it's a bop when you hear, through your headphones or whatever, and you have a wee jive to it. It's a toe tapper, but you see when we seen it live, his DJ did something marginally different with the beat, turned the bass up, the treble up, and everybody was fucking going wild. And it just was a totally different experience to when I'm sitting in my room with my headphones working away at something and I'm listening to it. And you sort of connect with that. And every time I hear it, I just think of everybody jumping on the stage, throwing themselves around live at that show. It's a different experience.
That's another thing about kind of inspiration. We're talking about people coming through. Is when you see music live, like I know from making beats and stuff, that if I'd go to a gig, I'd go to see like Skepta, AJ Tracy, any of these guys that I'd kind of follow quite heavily. When you go and see them live and you're like, okay, the beat that this guy's put over, everyone's just lost their mind to. Or like the second they hear the beat, everyone's like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? It's that feeling that makes you go home straight away. It's like, okay, I need to make a beat like that. I need to make something and send this to everyone.
Moment of euphoria where you're just like,
for sure. But if you see that, if you go to a one-day festival and they're all Irish artists and you come away with this feeling.
Know most of them.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't know most of them, and you go there and you leave with this sensation of, we can really do this.
Yeah.
We can make beats like this, we can spit like this, we can do videos, visuals like this, we can make it happen because all of these guys from 10 minutes up the road are doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be crazy.
I think there was an example where I really got that feeling was me and Jack, the other guy who actually started Mabfield with me. We were down in Dublin at a thing called Free Gaff, and it was like they rented out this mansion and they just had people performing every room, in the basement, in the kitchen. It was crazy. And this guy was rapping, and he had a load of charisma. He had a beard, long hair, and his name is Fynch. And he used to be signed to District Records, and I'd never heard of him or met him before. But when I seen him performing, I was like, dude, that was really good. You know, you had a really infectious quality about you when you were doing that, and you're a good performer. And he was like, man, I've only been doing this for 7 months. And I was like, you're having a fucking laugh. Seriously, I thought he'd been doing it for a long time. And it's things like that. If you have talent for it and you really go for it, then yeah, you can do it. And it's seeing people like he just seemed like a normal guy, and he was just spitting fire the whole night. And it was class. It was really good.
But see, this is what's amazing about the scene here. You can kind of like relate it to kind of like football down south and stuff, like kind of like football and hurling. Is that these guys can like sell out a stage in the academy, and then they're back working at a call center on Monday. You know what I mean? Like no one's at that stage yet that they can live off this. So it's incredible that like if people have, say Fynch for example, have that much talent after 7 months. If they are given the platform to keep going, what can they do?
I mean, there's no reason why. The only difference is that there's not as big an industry here, I guess, for it. And I mean, yeah,
because even trying to get a gig, we'll say guys like guys from down south, we've got like Upbeat. If any of these guys, I mean, I'd be close to Upbeat. He's just released an EP recently. Hopefully, have him on in the next couple of weeks. But he's really just use him as an example. If he wants to go book a gig in like the Academy or the Olympia, he will not sell that out by himself because he doesn't have the following. Not because his music's not good, just because he doesn't have the following. But what if we can get, we'll just say the Olympia as an example, and pack it out. We have 20 people on the cards. Each person brings 200 people, 100 people, whatever. You could really have a massive showcase night. Yeah. Showcase everything. I mean, that'd be fucking incredible.
I've not even seen anything like it, especially up north anyway, and it's just yeah. I mean,
or like down south, it just doesn't exist. It's just not there. I mean, you've got like the lifestyle sports stage, and you have a couple smaller tents at EP, but you will not get the same energy from one big stage where it's all dedicated to the Irish rap scene, because it's not there. Because even like we'll say the lifestyle sports stage, they had a couple, but they had guys from the States as well, and they had a couple bands on there, and it wasn't kind of dedicated. And even when there was like I think that Tebby Rex played there, it wasn't that packed. It was a great set, but it wasn't that packed. And you need it to fill up to really get the energy. You know?
And I think you would get a different energy if it was dedicated Irish hip hop, because people are going there, and it's like you're out on a night out in Belfast, and it's a DJ from Northern Ireland or from Belfast playing. People are just screaming and yowing the whole night. There's some sort of everybody's drinking buckfast. You know, it's one of them really indescribable atmospheres. And I feel like if it was Irish rap acts solely in one space, you know, you're just going to get a different type of energy. And showcasing it, it's just getting more people involved and getting people excited about it, because that's the thing. I've mentioned Irish hip hop to people before, and they're like, Irish hip hop, you know, like Irish people trying to rap. Like,
they think take the piss off us.
Yeah, like some people don't take it seriously, and I think it's about creating that platform so people take a step back and go, whoa, there is some talent here, and yeah, we can be proud of it, and we can move on somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're watching this now and you're kind of someone that wants to take part or you're interested in what we've just spoke about, get in contact with us. Our Instagrams will be somewhere down here. Contact the Mabfield page even. Please get in contact with us, because we need, like, this is all people power. We're not rich. We're doing this with zero budget, zero everything. We're basically going to beg, borrow, and steal to make this happen, but we want to make it happen. We want to give people the platform they deserve. So get in contact with us. If you can donate anything, you want to perform, you want to DJ, whatever, just get in contact and we can work something out.
Yeah, and just as another thing, like submissions in general, I mean, we're going to be doing this bi-weekly, and if you're looking your new EP, your new song, you're looking to us to talk about it and say what we think, send it in to us. You know, we're willing to talk about anything and willing to listen to anything. But yeah, talking about guests, getting them on, is there any, like, who would be the goal for you to get on this at this point? I mean, you personally know Upbeat, so hopefully we'll have him on soon.
Upbeat would be cool to get on. Yeah. Because if you kind of, like, picture where rap comes from in nearly every single country. You've got grime, comes from London, major city. New York, boom bap, New York, major city, lots of people around. Upbeat's from County Mayo. I don't know if you've been to Mayo. Not much of a rap scene. There's not many people, and there's not many rappers down there. No. So for someone to come out on Mayo, not only rapping, but rapping over like trap beats and stuff, and like he's got real energy. Like the guy's good. Like when you see him live, there's real energy there. I mean, we need more like that, because I know if you had Upbeat on the stage like the one we're talking about for this festival, he would kill it. Yeah, absolutely kill it. 100%, because he's a live performer. This is a guy that says yes to anything. If it's opening for a gospel choir or a drill act, he's going to say yes because he just likes to perform.
Yeah.
So to kind of give guys a platform like that, I mean, as a live artist, he gets so into it, he gets completely lost in his zone. Completely. Yeah. But people will get that. They'll be nervous for the first song, and they're like, okay, this is sick, and then just go for it. So like if you haven't watched Upbeat, he's got his new EP, Enter Aquarius. That's what we're going to talk to him about. Yeah. Solid EP. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it as well. The tune Tsunami, I really enjoyed it as well.
It's chill. He's got different vibes on there. He kind of takes little bits of dance or little bits of trap, little bits of bashment. He's got lots of little kind of things, and he's from Mayo. Like none of these things should work, but it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really how globalized our world is, and like the power of the internet, and people are taking influence from anything. I mean, if you listen to flipping Kids See Ghosts or something like that, it's like you can hear elements of like there's a Christmas from everywhere. There's a Christmas sample, like a Christmas song sample in there, and you wouldn't know unless you actually listen closely half the time, but.
Yeah, and they take bits from like Tame Impala, and then it's like jazz, and you're like, slow down.
But for sure, and incredible. I mean, there's another EP out last week that I really enjoyed that by one of the members from Nuisance, Lutherist, called Hueco Mundo, and
I've listened to a few songs off that.
And again, it's one of them things. It's like we just need more people putting out full length projects rather than just dropping sporadic singles. We need a bit of consistency, and I think he definitely developed his own sound for sure. Like. Nuisance had dropped the members had dropped a lot of singles sporadically, and they dropped one EP together, and it was sort of for me it was a bit generic trap sound, but he's got this sort of spaced out astral sound throughout it, and it's really cohesive, and it brings his own vibe to it, and it's just trying to find your own lane, and I think he's done that and made a good effort with it. But he worked together with Civ from Nuisance on that, and I think working with one producer on a project it really shows through when consistency with the production.
And keep it kind of cohesive.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'd kind of highlight is that when people make these projects, don't try to change your accent. Don't try to not steal beats, but use beats that are kind of famous for being beats from different countries, because people from those places that rap with those accents will get famous there. There's no one in like West LA or South London who are going to start backing an Irish guy who makes grime music. You know what I mean? I think you should really be proud of where you're from. Use the lingo of where you're from. Make beats that are a sound to where you're from. Be proud of where you're from.
Yeah.
Because then people that are where you're from will back you.
Yeah.
And that will really give you a platform that's completely authentic, completely honest, and it's a fair representation of where you are and where you're growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, Skepta's got a line from his Unlisted album, I'm trying to think of it now. If it's not the Ace would hustle hard to flow, then it all sounds like Rick Ross to me. Which is so true. Which is so true. You know what I mean? Because if it's because that was a stage where grime was really starting to get a main stage push. It was getting Mobos, it was getting Brits, there was people getting a platform.
Yeah.
And then guys were seeing this where grime originated, and they're gonna start making like Travis Scott beats and stuff. But be authentic to where you are. Showcase what you have and where you are, because you're not going to blow up ripping off someone else's sound. You're like, your mates will like it. You might play a gig in like the Grand Social. It might do all right. Like, good for you. But I think for you to stay authentic to your own sound, Kojak, perfect example. He is, unapologetically, not even Irish, but like a dub. And that's different. Uses the slang, uses the accent. Beats are a bit different. He's made his own complete identity. Which...
if you look at anything, it's authenticity is king. You look at the likes of Flatbush Zombies, who were dyeing their hair pink and blue before all these SoundCloud wave rappers were coming through. They were rapping about wrestling. They were rapping about Marlon Manson, wearing Marlon Manson t-shirts. And now you're seeing that everywhere. And I don't think they get the props for what they added to the culture in general. But, they've been doing that for years. Doug Waffle came out in 2012, I think. 2012, that's a long time. And that's well before people were doing that whole emo wave stuff.
Yeah.
So...
That's only came in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah. Well, blew up anyway. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
But, authenticity is definitely king.
And like making your own identity. Make something, because like the way people dress, and it's all kind of... they're seeing what's blowing up, and they're trying to kind of come as close to that as they can. Be authentic. Be yourself. Being yourself is cool. Being yourself is going to get you a push. Because that's why... Because like, people who like Travis Scott. They don't like people that sound like Travis Scott. Because they already have a Travis Scott.
Yeah.
The same way, like, if I've got a football jersey, and a similar jersey comes out, I'm probably not going to spend 60 quid on it because I've already got a football jersey that's very similar to that. You're not going to get invested in it. You're not going to care. So when you completely make your own sound, it's completely different, using your own lingo, people get invested because it's different. It's something they don't have, and they don't have like an opportunity to listen to.
I mean,
That's so important.
Yeah, for sure. And just bringing it back to when I met that guy Fynch for the first time, like he had a beard and long ginger hair, and he was rapping with an Irish accent.
Unique,
And
exactly.
the reason I turned on and was listening to him wasn't because he was covered in diamonds and bling and was rapping about bitches and hoes. Do you know what I mean? It was because he was doing something a little bit different and just caught my eye. And I mean, let's be honest, there is space for people doing the same thing. Like you don't need to reinvent the wheel here, but I mean, just add a little bit of your own flavour to it. You don't need to come through with a new genre of music. You don't need to come through with a brand new sound, but like, just do what feels comfortable.
Just add your own little tweaks to it. Because, like, I mean, ultimately those track beats are sick because they bring energy. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like, we're not trying to, like, yeah, that's a very fair point. Because I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm not saying don't do it. It's just put your own little tweak on it and be proud of who you are while doing it. Because that's what's really going to make a sound that's authentic and new. I think another thing, definitely kind of looking at beats, looking at lyricism is something that is definitely a work in progress. Like, because if you actually look for lyricists, how many do we have? We've got lots of trap. We've got quite a bit of drill now as well. Lots of kind of like Afro-Caribbean stuff. Yeah. How many like real lyricists are there? Like, have you heard many guys recently that really? I mean, there's a guy in that district group, Jar One.
Okay, yeah.
That guy has actually got a very nice flow. Yeah, that guy can spit. He's very, very good. But like, if you want to compare it to different countries, like, where's our To Pimp a Butterfly?
I mean,
where's that real lyrically incredible album?
I think it's something that'll definitely come with time. It's a work in progress and it's a raw scene. But I mean, anybody watching this who is claiming to be a big lyricist, like, get in touch because we're not like, we don't have all the knowledge. We're just saying for now we are not seeing these people. It's like, but this is the problem. Bring them to the forefront. Talk about them, see their music, and get a bit more publicity. But again, there's no one that's really sticking out in my mind that I've heard. There's people that have got good flows, but there's no real out and out like old school traditional lyricist who's just word bending phrases and bars. There's no one I can think of.
That's something it was a tweet that we're assuming was about you a while ago that that kind of claims that we didn't know what we were talking about. Or we weren't like, well, I say we, this was a direct attack at you, so you're on your own here. The laser point is on your chest. But if you want to, like, I'm openly admitting now, when I'm on this podcast about Irish hip-hop, I know 5-10% of the whole scene. I'm not claiming to be an expert in any way, shape, or form. A lot of people you'll talk about, I won't know. A lot of people I'll talk about, you probably won't know. Sure. But that's why, because we're not Irish hip hop aficionados. We're music lovers. We really, really love and appreciate good music. So that's why, even just from a selfish point of view, I'm here because I just want to find more music.
Yeah, I mean,
that's from a purely selfish point of view. I would like to be here to find artists from the country I live in that, like, they live half an hour down the road and they've made an album that I really, really like. Because that's what was so amazing in England, is like when the whole grime scene was coming through, that like if you're from Bow or Tottenham or any of these places, fucking guys like Wiley and Skepta have just played at like the Brits and stuff, and they go to the same corner shop you do. And that's insane. Because like they've got such a platform now, and they've just done a song with A$AP Rocky, or they've just done a song with like Young Thug or any of these guys, and you're like, this is insane. They're literally from 5 minutes down the road.
I mean, it's going to be a learning curve for us. I mean, this is our first episode, our first time doing it, and I'm open to getting a lot of hate about my opinions. I don't really care. Like, I'm going to say stuff that people aren't. I'm going to say stuff that people don't agree with. But it's about opening a dialogue and getting people to talk about it. Like, I did a top 10 Irish hip hop projects of the year, and when I put it out, there's someone called Blue Nile, and I actually listened to his music, and through him commenting and us opening up the dialogue, I learned about his music, and it was pretty good. But he commented saying, don't necessarily agree with everything, good video. And it's that sort of thing. It's like, you don't have to agree with what we say, but just like, in fact, but if you want to argue in the comments, fucking do it. I don't care. It's about like, it's just about generating.
People argue in comments. You've got too much time on your hands. Get a job. Go help your mum do something. Like, if you're arguing about someone else's opinion, get a life. But like, even this end of year thing, like Anthony Fantano, Sean C, any of these others, and they released their top 20 albums or top 10 albums. Like, where's Taboo by Denzel Curry? Where's Damn? Where's this? Shut up. This is someone else's opinion. This is the music they've enjoyed listening to. Just because they don't like the same stuff doesn't mean it's wrong. It's an opinion piece. So that's why when we say our opinion, like a lot of the stuff I'm going to listen to and that's going to be sent to me, I won't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like it. It's not going to be for me. I'm not going to think it's good. But that's all right, because that's my opinion, and I'm not fucking rap Simon Cowell. Yeah, I'm not going to put people on. You know what I mean? Like, my opinion doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's just a conversation.
How many, like, you're hoping to be proved wrong at the same time as well. You're hoping that you'll have an opinion of someone and they'll come back and they'll release another song and you'll just take a step back and you go, well, Absolutely. This guy just killed it, or this girl just killed it. You know, it could be anyone. Like, that's another thing. I haven't heard of any Irish, like, female MCs.
I saw one girl rapping on Instagram last day. Can't remember her name for the life of me. I do apologise. This is probably gonna make or break one.
It's like just trying to encourage.
They are out there, but like make more music. If you happen to watch this, make more music. Keep putting it out there. Like you will eventually find your own little audience doing your own little thing. Because there's people. What's the girl from the States? No Name.
Oh,
she's incredible.
Yeah, she's sick.
Lyrically incredible. Beats are incredible. Concept album, incredible.
I think she's like one of the best rappers on the planet. Period. Not like female rapper. Like she's just
that can be kind of like insulting as well.
Yeah. She's just one of the best rappers. Full stop.
Facts.
Yeah,
she's great. What was the name of the album? Was it Rum 25? Yeah, that was incredible. That was an amazing album.
Because she released what was it one, Telephone before, and I loved it because I heard about her through Mick Jenkins when I was younger, and
there were some bops on that one as well.
Yeah,
it was so because like. You know, there's a lot of kind of groove coming back to rap because it used to be kind of like real, like mosh pits, crazy, kind of intense. But now, I mean, even if you want to talk about Anderson .Paak and Kendrick, that song Tints.
Yeah.
That's groove. That's 80s, real 80s inspired groove, and that's amazing. That's really.
Yeah, I mean, it goes in cycles, doesn't it? It's like something becomes popular and then it goes out of fashion, and then they add their own flavour to it and bring it back, and it's just whatever you're interested in.
But that's with everything. That's just fashion in general, because music is a part of fashion. Like dad sneakers are a thing again.
Yeah.
Baggy jeans are a thing again.
I'm not sure I can dive into the big massive baggy jeans, but you know.
I'm pulling it off, man. I think I'm doing all right. But no, it's cool. That's what the culture needs.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could probably round it up there.
That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah.
I think as an introduction.
Yeah.
What more can we say?
Yeah, I think we've pretty much nailed everything that we wanted to talk about, give an introduction about ourselves and what we want to do. So yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe on YouTube. It's probably going to be on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, all that shit. Leave a comment, leave a like. Just engage, even if it's calling us shit. Like, honestly, I don't really care. Just
ready to start on Twitter.
Just start a bit of beef with us. Like whatever tickles your fancy. But yeah, actually, maybe leave in the comments who you'd like to see on the podcast.
Send us music.
Yeah, send us music. Yeah.
Contact us directly. All my DMs are open on Twitter, Instagram, everything. Comments, send us music. We want to talk about Irish music.
Yeah, and pretty much end it. Thanks for listening, guys, or watching, and we'll see you next time.
Sweet.